It is clear to see that the car market is going through changes. Prices are fluctuating and dealerships are scrambling. And now, GM is releasing a new $10,000 truck into the market. And we know what you're thinking. How good will a 10 grand truck be? And is this just the same story as the Maverick, or are they really ready? But whatever the outcome, we will win, me and you. And surprisingly, this truck is more than just a cheap alternative. There is a lot to talk about, like the strategy, the impact, and the performance of this truck, so let's just dive in. Performance. The Chevy Montana is coming back with a price tag of $10,000. Back in the day, the Chevrolet Montana used to roll in as this compact truck, but then everything changed. Big, massive trucks took the spotlight and suddenly, everyone was all about the oversized wheels and colossal grills. So GM had to hit the brakes on making trucks that were just collecting dust on the lots. But fast forward to now and the tables have turned. Smaller trucks are the fresh, cool things these days. Ford is doing the same thing and so is Toyota. But GM and Toyota are the only ones making $10,000 starting price trucks. Which, if you think about it, is really absurd. The cheapest trucks you can get right now in the US is the Ford Maverick and the Toyota Hilux if you're outside the US. But this one is half the price of both trucks. So you have to ask how this thing will perform. There is a reason why most companies don't make them this cheap, except for GM and Toyota. We'll talk about how they can actually achieve this price in just a few minutes, but before that, we should talk about the real capabilities of these things. It is a truck to buy when you want a cheap alternative to the big, overpriced trucks. It's not going to be a heavy-duty truck by any means, but it's your sidekick for daily hustles. But if we're being honest, there's more to this truck than just a friendly price tag. The Montana is packing modern infotainment systems and all the tech must-haves. GM's playing it smart. They want to compete in the urban market, so safety features, modern tech features, and all the flashy things will be crucial things to have. They have to meet what the demand craves, because that's the whole deal from the get-go. Vara's laying it out straight. She doesn't want her company to compromise on features or quality with this truck. Now, Toyota's CEO has said the same thing about the IMV0. Both of these giants have a track record of making cars you can count on. So, what sets GM's truck apart? First of all, there's a big chance that the Toyota IMV0 will not be available in the US. Plus, the Chevrolet Montana is setting its sights on a different type of customer. That's the game changer. Your target market, that's the roadmap for any product. This truck is crafted for folks who want just the right punch and top-notch reliability, all-round functionality, and some solid efficiency. It's not gonna ride you snag to flex, but let's be real, it looks really good, and surely you'll have collectors and gearheads itching to claim one. So if we make an educated guess, the starting base trim will just be a basic truck. No flashy things, just functionality and reliability. But GM will probably make higher trims with more advanced and extra features for a higher price. But how will they be able to do it? If you've been looking at the current market trend, this is not a surprise. It's not just about cars and trucks, the whole world just experienced a spike and now it's time for a dip. Common sense, right? Well, it's unfolding right in front of us, but don't just take our word for it. Look at the fresh faces in the lineup. Toyota Land Cruiser, Ford Maverick, and Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's the new trend right now. So this is GM's golden moment to resurrect the iconic Chevrolet Montana. Back in the day, it was a crowd pleaser, powerful, adaptable, and a jack-of-all-trades truck. But back then, it was a much simpler time in the industry. Everything was cheap. If you look at the cheap newcomers, you'll spot a recurring theme. Step 1. Zoom in and focus on one particular thing and sideline the rest. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's the secret sauce that's doing the trick. It's the playbook Ford pulled with the Maverick, and Toyota took the same approach with the new Land Cruiser. The strategy is to rake in a tidy profit while slapping on a friendlier price tag. Let's face it, every manufacturer's purpose is to make profits, and they won't risk that for anything. Now, you might be wondering how they cut back on features without raising eyebrows. Who would buy a cheaper car if it was made with downgrades on useful and essential features? The answer is simple. Every time they trim the fat, there's a shiny market gimmick to distract. Maverick's shiny marketing feature was efficiency. For the Land Cruiser, it was that retro minimal look with off-road prowess. And as for the Montana, it could be efficiency paired with a dash of retro charm and functionality stealing the show. But to be honest, when we started researching the plans of GM for the Montana, we were thinking that they actually don't have to bother with all that marketing gimmick, because this truck comes with a pocket-friendly price tag, and that's the headline act, right? Wouldn't you just buy it for the price tag? Ford did it for the Maverick because it wasn't $10,000. Sure, it was cheap, but $20,000 is still a high number for most people. The Montana will be half that price. However, there's a big why looming over them. A solid reason why they might need to roll out a similar strategy for Montana. And we'll talk about that in just a few more minutes after we talk about the impact this truck has made. Impact. There is no denying it. The Chevy Montana has shocked everyone. This truck will put GM in a good position, even beyond the borders of the US. But stateside, it's a different ballgame because every major automaker is competing to be the best and dominate the whole industry. Fierce competition jacks up the stakes, turning trucks into more than just tools. They're status symbols now. This is the reality of the market, but don't take our word for it. If you know anything about the truck market outside of the US, then you know what we're talking about. Toyota has been dominating the mid-size truck segment for almost a decade now with the Tacoma, and it costs around 3 times as much as the Montana. But across the map, Toyota offers the Hilux, a tough, reliable pickup that often outshines even the Tacoma. In Australia, it sold for a price of around $20,000. So if it is this good and popular, why is the Hilux available in the US? It boils down to Toyota's laser focus on the Tacoma and Tundra. If you have one of those, it loosely means you're cool, right? Now, if GM nails it in the global truck arena and in the US with their upcoming pickup, it could be the green light for other heavy hitters, Toyota included, to roll out their global truck lineup in the US. Imagine this domino effect. Ford, Ram, Jeep, all of them in the ring, crafting something slick and practical to go toe-to-toe globally. It's a sweet deal for us, right? More competition, not just in the US but on the world stage. And it has already started. Ford just announced that the Ranger's going global. But hold up, we said the Chevrolet Montana's got some hurdles to clear. So let's dive into that. Competition and challenges. There is no bombshell. GM's got a lineup of hurdles to clear before this truck hits the streets. The most obvious one is that they have to stick to the budget. But even if they crack the budget puzzle, GM's staring down a colossal challenge, convincing us that their fresh truck is a legitimate investment, not just a budget-friendly roll of the dice. Sure, we've thrown around ideas on how to pull it off, but let's be real. Affordability often goes hand in hand with compromises in the quality and longevity departments. The real deal is that they've got to make a case that picking up an untested, unproven truck is a smarter move than choosing a well-seasoned brand with a rock-solid track record. Would you spend $10,000 on a cheap truck when you could snag an older Tacoma for the same amount? Tacomas are solid, plus they pack more punch. And the best part is that there is no need to break a sweat about reliability. And we're not just talking about the Tacoma, that's just scratching the surface. Wouldn't you hold out a bit, stack some more cash, and buy a brand new Maverick or Santa Cruz? Tell us in the comments because we genuinely want to know. But remember the strategy we explained earlier. Here is where GM desperately needs it. If GM nails it, we won't be talking about flaws. All eyes will be on the one thing it nails, and that's the secret sauce for sales. That is how the Maverick got everyone buzzing about its affordability and efficiency. No one was trying to look beyond the hype. Most people should have waited for the next generation to swoop in and fix the problems, and it had issues. Within a mere week, the orders flooded in, and Ford was in a scramble to keep up. Now, the same thing could happen to GM. It's very hard to balance demand and availability. So what does this mean to you and me? Brace yourself, because if this truck becomes really good, and let's be real, even if it doesn't, demand's going to shoot through the roof. And you know the drill. Prices will be soaring sky high and dealerships are always ready to profit as much as they can. But hey, there's a glimmer of hope. The Ford Maverick was the headline for all the wrong reasons, and pretty much everyone knew what they just did. So if we've learned from our past, maybe the same lightning won't strike twice and we won't see history repeat itself. It is clear to see that we're cruising into a whole new era where cars are putting all their chips on one card. The name of the game is to roll out the truck with the ultimate combo of features that caters to the masses. And truth be told, that's the sweet spot we'd all rather be in. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.